Thank you everyone for joining us again. So we are also having a little bit of a discussion right after this keynote. Wanted to talk about a subject that Guido has been covering during the keynote, which is OpenPBR. But we wanted to extend the time to exchange with the real actors behind OpenPBR, meaning the company who's been deploying it, and also hear from people who start to use it. So just to start from the beginning, OpenPBR is standing for Open Physical-Based Rendering, and it's our new open standard when it comes to shading model. It's hosted by the Academy Software Foundation, and it was initially created together with Autodesk, so Autodesk and Adobe under the guidance of the Material X Technical Steering Committee. The first release of OpenPBR, the 1.0, was a year ago through the Software Foundation GitHub. And since we've been shipping 1.1. Designed as a Uber shader, OpenPBR serves an open standard capable of accurately represent the majority of CG materials. So on my end, still Pierre Maheut, Director of Growth of Adobe, and I will be the moderator of this discussion. Adobe has been involved since the very early stage for this project, and I'm thrilled to welcome all those great guests to join the conversation and to exchange about OpenPBR. Also, disclaimer, there is way more participants to OpenPBR, but the stage has limited surface. So we'll welcome first Rick Barrett from Maxon. So Rick has been, thank you. So Rick has over 2 decades at Maxon and has been driving forces behind Maxon commitment to empower artists through innovative and user-friendly tools such as Cinema 4D, Redshift, ZBrush, and Red Giant. I also have the chance to have Sebastien Miglio joining me on stage. So I guess many of you know that Sebastien is Vice President of Product Management and Engineering at Epic. He's been a visionary leader and spent more than 30 years at the forefront of digital content creation for real-time graphics. And right now he's leading product management and engineering for Unreal ecosystem. We also have the chance to have Eric joining us on stage, who is Senior 3D Pipeline Technical Director on Real-Time Studio at Walt Disney Studio. So Eric is working in research and development lead for innovation and technological pipeline, and his different field is customer-facing experiences, marketing, and real-time activation. Last but not least, Frederic Director of Engineering at Autodesk. I feel bad not to leave you a round of applause. So Frederic is in charge of Arnold, Bifrost, look development, color management, and Flame at Autodesk, and he's been joining Autodesk through the Solid Angle acquisition and has been in the VFX world for many years. So as you can see, we have the right people to talk about a new standard and a new initiative that is OpenPBR. So let's jump directly to the first question. So I would ask you, why did you decide to implement OpenPBR in your tools, and how long did it take to do this implementation? So maybe Sebastien, you can start.
Sure. Well, there was 2 main reasons for implementing OpenPBR. First, of course, to continue the commitment for Unreal Engine to support open standards, like we've done it with GLTF, OpenUSD, and in this case with OpenPBR, it was to address material transport and interoperability around the different tools of the industry. And then it was really to use it as a showcase for Unreal Substrate, which is our new modular and composable material system. And we really wanted to use it as a way to show that we can represent industry standard material, but also implement modern Uber shader and new shading model system.
Nice.
When it goes to the implementation, it took us approximately a couple of days to get OpenPBR running into UE. Disclaimer, mainly because we already had all the Material X parsing in place and the tooling around. So the bulk of the work was really around really mapping and building the material function to go from OpenPBR to Substrate, as well as plugging it into the Substrate slabs and operators in the engine.
What about you, Ulrich, at Maxon?
Yeah, we have both a content creation engine in Cinema 4D that plugs into a number of renderers, and our own Redshift renderer that plugs into a lot of content creation engines. So being able to have a common material standard to exchange across all of those is incredibly valuable. And it took us a little longer than you guys. I think it took us 6 weeks or so. Most of that work was actually just really trying to make sure that we were 100% aligned with the standard and could get those consistent results like Guido showed. And we actually tried to do that as well. It worked fine. I just didn't turn in my homework on time.
No worries. Next time. When it comes to the ambition of this implementation, like, what did you expect to solve, or what's the users were asking when it was about OpenPBR? On your end.
For us, yeah, I mean, it was really being able to exchange assets across render engines, across DCCs, and then also, you know, we all are working on creating more assets for our artists and creating a rich asset ecosystem, and being able to exchange those assets easily across all of the various DCCs is a huge advantage of OpenPBR as well.
Right. What about you, Frederic, at Autodesk? Same way?
Well, it was a bit easier for us because we had prototype from the very beginning, so it was easily integrated in Arnold, for sure. And then the rest was not too complicated, but you know, it touches a lot of things, and we have to synchronize the team, so you know, it has to be integrated in the viewport, in Max, in Maya. Also, things that we didn't foresee, like FBX support, because when you export FBX, it has to have some material. So yeah. I would say, like, maybe the trickiest thing is to align with the release of USD and Material X, make sure that when we release it, it's you know, it's able to play with USD and Material X out there. So, but it's the default material in Max and Maya. So yeah, job done.
Awesome. About the job being done, like maybe Sebastien, even though you've been probably the quickest to integrate it, did you encounter any challenges?
Well, I mean, we started the implementation a very long time ago, I think 2 years ago, when I think the specifications were not even published yet. So, but overall, the integration was pretty straightforward. I would say that the major challenge for us was coming from Unreal being a deferred render engine, which is slightly different than how traditional path tracer would operate. So we had to implement and maintain slightly different version of OpenPBR material for opaque and translucent material, because they are pretty much drawn at different time of the rendering pipeline. So for us, it was mainly coming from being a game engine. But this said, the power of OpenPBR is that it's working seamlessly in a game engine as it is in a path tracer.
And how much you've been participating also to the steering committee? What's the value of SAWF on this?
Yeah, a lot, and it was very positive. I mean, for us, the steering committee provides really a neutral forum for implementer. We can discuss about exchanging ideas, we can really go low level in the discussion, and we can really try to understand Arctic's workflow. And the benefit at the end is that the work being done here serves everybody. And on top of that, the strength of the Academy Software Foundation is that within the media entertainment industry, it's really you get all the logistic and system in place so that you can just go there, engage with like industry leaders and get the work right away into action without having to worry about all of that.
So we've been mostly talking about implementing it, but we've been implementing it on the purpose to serve our users. So Eric, you are representing our users, and I wanted to hear from you what's your feedback as a user about OpenPBR?
Of course, feedback. So, like, what I can talk to, or what I don't need to talk to, is OpenPBR delivers on the artist side. It's artist friendly. I can iterate fast with it. Like, it's amazing. It's another shading language in my toolbox of many other shading languages that I've had to learn. But with this one, like, I picked it up fairly quickly because it just ports over so well. Like, all the attributes are the same as the standard surfaces. They may be a little different here and there, but it's not bad at all. But, so, I do want to talk more so to the superpower of OpenPBR, which is the open part of OpenPBR. And I can speak to 2 different examples, and I'll try not to ramble on. So the first example, I had to take a film quality production asset of a character that had a very specific color of skin. And I'll just say it's red because right now I'm just seeing red all over the place. So this character color is, the skin is red. And I have to now then convert that from a pipeline that is unique to a parent company that has proprietary software that, hey, you open it up in a clean environment, nodes are broken, nothing is working. All you get is a gray model. So now you have to do that and then convert it downstream so someone down there can, from like say marketing, the parks, AR, VR, another vendor even, they can ingest that asset and work wonders with it. So that was my job, was I need to take what they've got, their baby, convert it, make sure that everything is good to go and everything is approved up and down the pipeline, and then give it to our external vendor. And that's what happened. Like, I was able to optimize this thing, get it through, got it approved through like the AD, the look dev team, the texture artist. Hey, good job converting it, blah, blah, blah. How'd you do it? Yeah, it was hard, but we got it done. Turns out the vendor wanted to use a different renderer. And I'm like, oh no, I didn't account for this. So now the red that we worked so hard to get down is now different. Like, it's slightly different, but it's enough to make a difference to the parent company where they're like, no, we can't sign off on this. Sorry, but you have to redo it. Vendor companies coming to us and they're like, this is the asset you gave us. What happened? So now here was the thing. Meetings needed to happen. Tickets needed to be made. Production cycles were wasted. Meetings for the meetings happen. Meetings to get the vendor in happen. Meetings for the parent company to get happen. And meetings with the parent company, our team, and the vendor company happen. And all the while, the tail was between my legs. Like, I can't believe this happened. So that was awful. And by hook and by crook, a lot of time was spent just getting it done. Like, I had to make the adjustments myself. I had to get in there, get my hands dirty, but hey, we got it done. And somewhere along the line, a whole nother team who uses a whole different renderer, who has a whole different schedule, is like, we heard that you have these assets. Can we get them too? And I'm like, oh no, it's not gonna work there. Like, that's not right. That project was, we have fun at Disney. So the second story, and I do want to get to the point. So the second story, like, I had to do the same thing a few weeks to a few months later to a different character of the same movie. And same cycle, like, we got the thing approved by the AD, the look dev team, etc. And they're like, okay, cool, send it out. And then now the vendor company has it, and there's that point where it's like, okay, when's it gonna come back? I know there's gonna be notes. And the cool thing was, when we got on the line for like the reviews, it was just, oh, cool, tweak this and that, you're good to go. And I'm like, what? Really? And the vendor company was like, oh, hey, we got this. Cool, you're taking it off my plate. Like, that was the power of OpenPBR. Like, we were able to ship something from something that I had to convert, give them now the new source of truth, and now this vendor company, and I can send it out to many other companies, like many other places. They'll have that to move forward with, like with integrity and with like consistency.
All right, so long story short, you've saved a lot of time, energy, and
Yes.
air, I guess,
Yeah.
with OpenPBR. And back to what you were mentioning each time you are mentioning other renderers, we can name some of them that have been joining, like Blender, Rhino, V-Ray, Karma. They all are joining OpenPBR. So really the idea is to cover so many different pipelines for you to escape from those kind of situations. Maybe for Rick, more on what was your first experience when you deploy internally OpenPBR? What was the first reaction to it, and how people have been reacting to it?
Yeah, user reaction was great. I mean, it was a natural progression from what we had all started to do with the standard surface materials, but really a nice evolution from the standard surfaces. So it's a very intuitive material. People just took to it right away. Love things like being able to easily define metalness and the fuzz and coat and things like that. So yeah, we've gotten great feedback from users, and we'll be making it our default in Redshift really soon.
Do you have in mind like specific issues that has been addressed and that used to be something that was coming back?
Really just that being able to exchange between renderers really smoothly. Yeah.
Especially as Redshift is featured in other DCC tools.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. I don't know if I should ask you, Eric, other examples of issues that you've been running into, or at least OpenPBR addressed.
Okay, so, yeah, I have novels to talk. No, I'm kidding. We have fun. But other issues.
Did you have like project where you had like real-time experiences to be developed at the same time?
Yeah. So, what we had to do was there was this one character that we had to take from this company over here and then give it to another company over there. And on the spec sheet, and it was really early on, like this was my first attempt at using OpenPBR. So on the spec sheet was, hey, give us this file format with this material setup and plus OpenPBR. And I was like, oh, cool, I get to work with OpenPBR. Like, that's not bad. And same thing, optimize the mesh, got the shaders ready, like got it approved, et cetera, and then sent it out to a vendor. And then now it's up to the vendor to render this out because they're gonna use it in their activation. And they had both this one shader, and then they also had the OpenPBR version of it, the render of it. And what was cool was we had both of them open at the same time. And the team that gave us the assets, they were like, oh, with this one, just do this and that, blah, blah, blah. Make it like the image on that side. And I was like, but that's our render. Like, the ref is ours. And they were like, okay, cool, like just use that. And I'm like, yes, that's what I love. Like, so that was the cool thing, was like, not only did they get the asset and everything was approved, like the look dev was great, but then now we were able to send that to another company, and like someone else got it and they were able to play with it too. And like just that consistency and that integrity of just being able to like hand off. And really, it's just super minor differences between like this or that, but I mean, like, I'd rather have that versus the weeks of just, oh no, I need to fix this.
You became the reference.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. So to close this panel and afterwards also, if you have questions, we will take some questions. Last question might be for Frederic, because as we mentioned, we already released the 1.0, 1.1. What next?
Well, 1.2.
Thank you.
Yes, so 1.2. So there's lots of things in there, and I won't go into the details, but there's features like new aspects, like smudgy metals. Like you can do more looks if you want. We're also addressing feedback from artists, where some things were not as intuitive as they should be. So we're addressing this kind of stuff. I can name retroreflectivity, which is a feature that's very important for security equipment. And it's good to mention that this is a contribution from NVIDIA. So this is cool. Like we have feedback from users, we have contributors implementing stuff. So it's a good dynamic. Also, like last week or beginning of the SIGGRAPH, we announced a new initiative in OpenPBR, because there's more than surfaces in our assets. So we've announced a collaboration between Autodesk and SideFX to release soon OpenPBR volumes. So it's the same idea as with surfaces, but for volumetric effects like smoke, clouds, explosions, fire, and so being able to transport that look from one asset to another. There's more work coming, like if you want to exchange a character, probably you need a model for hair or for fur. So those are the kind of topics that we want to address next, to have a full set of shaders to exchange all types of assets that you use in production.
All right. Exciting. All right, so I wanted to thank you again, but now we will open it up to Q&A. So if you have any question for member of this panel. Any other, or otherwise I will ask Eric if he has one more story. I'm not sure. I think there is a question.
We have someone.
Hi there, Jed. It's my name. I've got a question, I guess, to probably the software makers. Do you sort of see certain companies being resistant to OpenPBR because it opens up the compatibility between different DCC packages and so forth? And will that be a barrier to the adoption of OpenPBR?
I think it's quite the other way around. I mean, these days, if you look at what the story Eric is telling us, it's all about transmedia. You have those IP, that content that you need to spread across a lot of media, linear content, interactive, things like that. And if we look at Disney, I mean, they're working with Arnold, Cinema 4D, Unreal Engine, and it's in our mutual benefit to make sure that we all work together so that our licensee and users get what they need at the end of the day. So far, I've never encountered anybody blocking, at least in the media entertainment industry, the adoption of open standards.
Yeah, we have the same customers. Our customers are using, all those tools and that's the reality, So it's better for our customers. And between vendors, like from the beginning, there's other vendors out there. Blender was super supportive, gave a lot of very, very useful feedback early on. Chaos. Like if you look at the list of implementers today, it's impressive. Everything you said about it being easy to implement, that's music to my ears, and I'm glad we saved you a lot of money and trouble. Like everybody wants this. Like nobody wants to, spend some time converting assets. So it's a good thing.
Nice, thank you very much.
Any other question?
This is actually the second time I heard of OpenPBR. I wonder, is it going to be really pipeline heavy to use, to utilize this?
No, it's not. It is not.
So it's like a file format, like a document or PSD that just save and then open.
I mean,
it's not. So OpenPBR is a specification.
Yeah.
The way you transport it is not part of the initiative. So it won't change your pipeline if your pipeline is able to transport it. For example, you can express it in MaterialX. You can express it even in your scene, like a Maya scene, or it can be expressed in USD shade in USD. So there's many ways, but as long as you have the same parameters and you play the same textures, you have the same result.
yeah. And if you built a shader in a 3D or in a DCC, like you can use this thing. And the cool thing is that not only is there a white paper of how to use this, but that Slack channel, the Academy Software Foundation, like, my goodness, they rip this thing apart. They tear it apart. They meticulously like get in the weeds with this thing, but not because to put it down, but to make it better, and to give the artist the tools and the understanding to like really find out what all these things do. So it's not difficult to pipeline around. It's not too difficult to use. It just needs more adoption. Like I need more wins, like my story. Like the more softwares that this opens up to, the better, and the easier it is to use.
So OpenPBR seems like a really exciting opportunity to create this new standard. But what if you need something more? In Substance Painter, is there going to be the plan to be able to define your own potentially more complex Material X-based materials that you can then paint all of those parameters and export out to your external material to then be rendered in Karma or something like that?
That's a very good question, and maybe I should turn to Guido. But I will try to answer. I mean, one of the key aspects of OpenPBR is to cover as much as possible, like the variety of materials. So also in the coming up versions of OpenPBR, we will extend each time to a bigger footprint. Then something that we've been leveraging in general in Substance Painter is that we always, same for designer, keep like the door open for like custom aspect of it. But definitely, as soon as you open this door of custom shading models or things like that, then you break the capability to share the asset across. So we keep flexibility, and especially in designer, you can add as many channels as you want. But really the idea is to help our users to potentially find their home and the thing that they are looking for with the definition of OpenPBR.
If I can add, so in terms of Material X, first is going to get a designer. We want to do the support. Painter will go with OpenPBR, so not the full spectrum of Material X. But Painter already allows you to have custom shaders, like especially in the interactive viewport. But eventually, this will be one of those things where, again, like I said before, like we prioritize based also on people's needs and requests. This can be one of those things that we can put on the roadmap if we need more beyond, because Material X has OpenPBR support, but has other is like even a bigger has a bigger set of models there. So again, this may be something we want to continue, because once again, we want you have this full interop between Painter, Designer, Houdini, Maya, Cinema 4D, etc. So we're starting with OpenPBR is already a big goal for the next 6 months time frame, and then maybe we'll go beyond that. But Designer will be the first one really focus on Material X.
Hi there. So I actually have a question when it comes to how this stuff impacts game teams inside of engines. I've been trying to push a lot of these open texts for a long time at my team, but obviously we have a custom render engine and everything's custom. So while I would love to compare things between different DCCs, it gets very hard when I try to push this stuff to my engineer teams on the game side.
Yeah, well, I don't think open standards are kind of going against game development, even if you are using custom engine. There's going to be a talk tomorrow as part of the Alliance for OpenUSD on USD for gaming. And as an example, Remedy, who has done Alan Wake's, they have a custom engine, and it's all based and built on top of USD. So they've managed to integrate USD natively at the core of the engine. Of course, a game engine runs on various types of hardware, so there's always step required to compile and optimize asset down the line to ship a game. But as part of the authoring process, nothing prevents a commercial game engine or a proprietary game engine to leverage USD, GLTF, MaterialX, etc., like we've been using FBX and other formats in the past. These are just transport mechanisms, and they have to evolve as well.
Thank you.
No other question? So I will thank again the panelists of today. Thank you for your time. Also, at the end of Substance Days, at least before we have some drinks. So happy to follow up the discussions for that. And also, thank you everyone for joining us today. Don't hesitate, or please answer to the survey so that we can know better how to do better next year and how we can do better in general. Please find some time to answer to us. And otherwise, wishing you a great SIGGRAPH 2025. See you next year. Bye.